Without further ado, let's get into the action this weekend. 6 conference championship games, starting off with the AAC on Friday, 8 p.m. Eastern Time kickoff between Tulane and Army. Tulane, a 4.5-point favorite, total of 45.5. Brett, bet on this game or just a take on potential side?
I'm still going to sit and watch to see where this kind of levels out at. I already kind of, missed the best number if you're looking at it. Look, first and foremost, it's going to be cold in West Point, New York, guys, and this is a team from New Orleans that these seniors on this team haven't really played anything like it. A lot of them, of course, coming over from Troy, which isn't exactly much cooler. The closest I could find in terms of temperature from this team for the last 3 or 4 years or so was last year's bowl game in Annapolis, where it was 48 degrees. However, no wind, no snow to really impede them there. The total did come down, though, from 48.5. I think that's more about the teams themselves rather than the conditions they're going to be playing in. I do have to get a hat tip. Credit where credit is due here. Brad Power is actually the one that pulled this up. John Summerall has faced option teams 3 times in his coaching career. That's Army twice and Navy this past year. His defenses gave up a combined 9 points, fellas. Combined. He shut Navy out earlier this year, 35-0, held him to 113 total yards. I know Blake Horvath did kind of suffer an injury, a little bit banged up in that game, in and out. But look, they still shut that option attack down. These guys are just really, really well coached in the option. If you go back and look at these defensive linemen, they know how to play both the pitch and the keep, and they have guys swarming the dive. It's just a really, really good scheme to be able to shut down these option defenses. On the other side, to beat Tulane, you're probably going to have to score 30+. I don't think even Army's defense is going to hold them under 27 or so. Army's, they played one defense ranked in the top 50 in points per drive this year, that being Notre Dame, and I'm just not going to even compare Tulane and Notre Dame. They're not the same football team. They did play 6 opponents, 95th or worse in that metric, 8 opponents, 80th or worse. And then to talk about Mikey Stadium, a lot of people are going to say, well, they're playing at home, I'm going to give them the bump. I'm really not. They have less than a 57% win rate at home against FBS opponents, so I'm not really sure that home field advantage is all that strong, besides the fact that it's going to be really cold in New York there. Unranked teams, by the way, over ranked teams in the 20s, they win about 70% of the time, so this is Tulane with the points for me.
So you think this number is potentially a little too short?
Too short. Well, yeah, I would take the points with Tulane. Yeah, or lay the points. Pardon me.
Okay, David, what about you? Anything with the spread or total or just a pass?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't dive as deep into it as he did in terms of I didn't like them versus the option. I mean, I know they have a good run defense and I just kind of gravitated there right away, right? When you have a one-dimensional team, which Army is, that works when you're playing bad opponents and stuff. But Tulane's a solid little team there, and they should be able to contain them, on the ground. Tulane is balanced. I mean, they're not world beaters by any means, but I think on paper, on everything else, they're the much better team. They can one team can score in many ways, the other team can't. So it just feels like everything kind of has to fall for Army for it to sort of break right for them. And I think having it at home is obviously beneficial, and it being a little chilly is, helps them a little bit, but it's not, we're not talking about something where it is snowing or sleeting. And I mean, last I checked, it seemed it's going to be mild, right? It's going to be chilly, it's going to bother these players, but I think they can play in it. I think, when you're in those 20s to 40s, anecdotally, I mean, humans can survive it. It bothers you a little bit and stuff. I think it's different if it's in the teens or single digits, right? And then all of a sudden you can't grip the football, you can't throw it, guys are dropping it. So I don't view that as a huge thing. I actually love the under in this game. I actually kind of like the alternates in it as well. I'll be looking at, Tulane, if you can get them 10, 12, 13, because I just see this as a scenario where they win 27-10 or 24-7 or something like that. So love Tulane.